guys, welcome to the Northwest Connection. This episode we're joined by SLAB, a Manchester outfit carrying the lineage of a city built on factories, clubs and reinvention. Their sound is heavy, minimal and unmistakably northern. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome to the Northwest Connection. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah. I'm Tom. I play guitar in SLAB.
I'm Leanne, I play the drums.
I'm Paul, I play bass.
So, how did SLAB come together as a band, and how long have you been together now?
Who wants to take it? So, I mean, I'm probably remembering it my way, and it might be wrong, but I think it was around 2019. Am I right? Or was it 2018?
Oh no, 19. We're not that old.
Yeah. No, there's no sort of incredible sort of band creation, sort of mystical story really. It's kind of my other half is kind of like the Sharon Osbourne in the story, we like to say. So my other half and Leanne worked together, and I don't really understand how it came up, but I think they've obviously got a mutual love of music, and they were discussing music, probably talking about gigs, and then I guess it came up that you played drums, right? But I wasn't there, but I'm presuming this is what happened. And I wasn't in any bands and hadn't been for years, and I don't know what Tom was doing at the time, but me and Tom weren't in a band. And I think you were probably you just wanted to play more drums, didn't you? The more drums you can play, the better. And I think you probably wanted to maybe try something new. We kind of tried it, didn't we, at a space you used to have, and we were pleasantly surprised with what came out, weren't we? That's how I remember it anyway.
You guys, Tom and Paul, have been in bands together for years, haven't you? And yeah, and your other half was moaning that you're always going off and tinkering with Tom, and you really need a drummer. Well, that's how it was sold to me. And being a drummer, you end up being in 400 different bands usually in your lifetime, so I thought I'd give these two a go. So, yeah.
What could go wrong?
So, starting in 2019, you would have been getting into your stride probably as COVID hit. Did that impact you at all?
Yeah, it was a right pain in the arse. Am I back in now?
Yeah. Loud and clear.
Yeah.
You are with that statement.
Yeah, it was really annoying. We were just getting some gigs. We were just getting a bit of, we were just getting used to what we sounded like. And then that happened. And Leanne couldn't get access to a drum. She borrowed I've got an electric drum kit here. So Leanne came and borrowed that. So she kept herself sane for the first 6 months or something. I was writing songs on the ukulele whilst trying to homeschool. Yeah, it was a mess. Seems like ages ago now, though.
Yeah, because it feels like it's a long time ago, and it did pretty much take 18 months out of probably what we could have done in terms of just finding our sound and getting that first couple of EPs done. I think they sort of straddled maybe COVID, the two EPs, but I guess most bands that were just starting before then felt the dearth of opportunity, and then suddenly when we came back to play a gig, it was like the best feeling ever, even though it was just in like a little pub by the hospital in town. It was like the best gig we'd ever played, just the release of being able to do it again.
But that first gig after COVID was weird, because after so long of social distancing and not seeing anybody really, just seeing people outside when you clapped every week, the pub was pretty much full, and it was quite it was a bit daunting, wasn't it? Do you remember? I remember feeling a bit like, oh god, this is weird, this is what it's like with loads of people. It's really uncomfortable. But we met the Sewer Cats.
We don't need to go back to those times. It was
No.
weird. Yeah, garbage.
Where did the band name come from? Is there any special meaning behind it?
I think it was something that I came up with because I wanted something that was really just punchy and sounded a little bit metal. Because to me, like you were saying earlier on when I dropped off, me and Paul have always written quite soft songs with soft drummers, and then we tried playing soft songs, and Leanne came in and went, "Yeah, this is just play really hard over them." And we went, "Actually, yeah, that's what's been missing from what we wanted to do," and it just felt hard, and so SLAB just felt like a bit of a I want kind of one syllable, done and dusted. It felt like it suited the sound, and I think we all just quite liked it originally, didn't we? Leanne was concerned that it sounded like slag.
It's also balls backwards, but you can't have everything.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't realise there's so many slabs either, which is what can you do?
But I was
Is that where the brackets come from?
Yeah, that's where the brackets come from. Is that what you said? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Where are you guys based?
Manchester, South Manchester, all of us. Yeah. We're all about a couple of miles from each other, which is good. Yeah,
Make it a bit easier.
yeah. No remote.
We used to have a practice room that was kind of really close to me and Paul, and a little bit further for Leanne, but it was kind of roundabout in the same area, and that's closed, and we're now in north of Manchester, so it's like a 40-minute drive to our practice room now. So it's convenient living close to each other, but then when you've got a practice room that's 20 miles away, it's not so much.
Yeah, it's never good when you've got to do the travel to the practice room as well. Sometimes just getting the momentum to get going can be the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got to do 40 minutes around Manchester as well. I can imagine that can be a nightmare on certain days of the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's the musical backgrounds of each of you, and how did you all get started in music? We'll start with you, Tom.
Yeah, I was classically trained on piano and violin, and then picked up guitar when I was 14, started getting into metal, bit of punk, got into a band in school, and just really liked doing that. Still carried on piano and violin, but it wasn't really what I was passionate about. But that gave me a good foundation for learning another instrument, really. Taught myself on guitar. And then I went to study up in Lancaster. I'm from Nottingham, went to study up in Lancaster, and then moved to Manchester with the band I was in at the time. And then that band became a band with Paul, and then that all fell apart for one reason or another. But then, yeah, fast forward and here we are.
How about you, Paul?
I mean, a little bit similar, but I wouldn't say I was classically trained. I've always felt a little bit of a hack, actually. I did used to play violin when I was younger. I was okay, but I don't know. There wasn't much inspiration there. There wasn't much subtlety. But the good thing about the violin is the strings on the bass are the same strings, same intervals and stuff. So I started playing bass at school. I think my mate wanted to do some sort of horrendous rock song or horrendous cover. I can't remember now. I think it must have been for GCSE music, and no one had a bass. And no one wanted to play bass because it wasn't glamorous. So I realised you could get a bass for about £100, brand new then. So I saved a bit of money, bought a bass, and then instantly regretted it because then I realised I would have to take a bass and an amp to school. I one in each arm. So by the time I got to school, I was just knackered and no fit state for anything. So that took the edge off it. And then, just hacked along from there, really. I think that's the good thing about bass. You don't need to be... It's one of those instruments I think anyone can pick up and give a go on. I think with drums and guitar, you need a bit more understanding of what's going on. And bass is kind of, I don't know, there's something a bit sort of egalitarian about it. Just pick it up and give it a go. And that suits me.
It's the great leveler bass, isn't it?
It is, yeah, without any fiddles or anything like that.
I think you're underselling yourself there,
Yeah.
Paul.
No, but I think, I mean, bass is a great instrument. Sometimes you just get really into playing the bass. Sometimes it's only fun when you're kind of with people. It's one of those instruments, I think, really. But I imagine, I never asked, but I imagine playing drums on your own can be fun, as guitar can be as well. No?
To an extent, but it's just so loud.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a nice segue into Leanne to tell us about her introduction into drumming.
I started having drumming lessons at school when I was 10 in Liverpool and joined a band when I was 16, and the other two members were in their 20s, and they took me to play gigs all around Liverpool, and almost got signed by One Little Indian, didn't. Went off to uni, joined loads of other bands, supported the White Stripes at a little venue in Manchester. And when they first played in Manchester, got told we were the better band. Great things are going to happen. Nothing happened. So, I've just been drumming in so many bands for years. But I think what I've realised now is that I was just hammering it, and I do still hammer it. But there's something about being with Tom and Paul that's taught me subtlety. That wouldn't have been a word in my drumming vocabulary about 5 years ago. So just never too late to start learning new tricks, isn't it? But there's some sort of confidence that has to come with being a little bit quieter and a bit gentler at times as well.
How many bands do you reckon you've been in, Leanne? Because you must be 15, 20 bands, yeah?
I mean, it's starting to get a bit I'm just go with
I don't
anyone.
mean that in a bad way. I think I've been in
No, I know.
3. This might be the
Probably
4th.
about 8 or 9.
I thought it was more.
Yeah. I mean, there were some that were just a brief encounter.
They count.
It's a novelty as well, being a Scouser in a Mancunian band as well, really.
I know. I get a lot of football banter from Paul, to be honest, on a rehearsal night, usually to say that I'm not doing so well this season, whereas Tom doesn't give a crap.
Right.
But yeah, I think also because we're all in bands around the same time, our bands almost crossed paths and were on the same compilation CD when there was more of a Manchester music scene. And that was when Elbow were just sort of rising up, and those bands called Ocean Size and Amplifier. And and we were sort of around the edges of it. So we've always been like around the edges of stuff that got noticed a bit more. Are you going to go and find the CD? You said CDs are coming back into fashion, so maybe. Yeah, so I knew of their band and they knew of my band, but we never played quite on the same showcase night.
Yeah, on the same circuit. Though.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Cheers,
Look at that piece of history.
Yeah.
Who's on it?
Who is on it?
Yeah.
There's so this was put together by some guys that called themselves the Soviet Twins, who were really supportive of Manchester music at those times. I was about to say back 2001, it says on here. There's bands on here like Monomania, Kyo, which Leanne was in, Politburo, Polythene, Ofa, who we were friends with, and then we've got a band called Sleepwalker, Dodgy. Oh, that was us. And a band called Ocean Size. You might have heard of Ocean Size. They did it quite well.
Yeah. They did all right, didn't they? Ocean Size.
Yeah.
Who are
their own thing.
Who would you say are your biggest musical influences, and how have they shaped your sound individually?
I can never answer these questions.
I've just got back from going all the way to Belgium to see Deus, because they were just like one of the most amazing bands in terms of the randomness of the songs that they did. And yet there were thousands of people there the other night just singing along to every bit and every twist and turn in the song. And it's like, you don't have to just write verse, chorus, verse to be an interesting band. But also we played a gig with Andy Cairns from Therapy, was in one of the like supergroup bands that we played with a couple of years ago, and the drummer from Therapy originally was like my absolute, like I wanted to be him when I was 12, 13 years old. I wanted to be Five from Therapy. So yeah, that would be my answer.
You guys
don't really have many bands in common that we like, do we? I mean, I don't know one song by Deus. No, it's true, isn't it? It's just interesting.
No.
There's lots of bands Tom likes that, we've had this discussion before, that I just don't like or have never heard of. And I think I like some stuff that you guys just have no interest in at all. And it's weird. There's not that many bands in common that we all like, is there?
Sonic Youth.
Yeah.
And that's really the only one that comes to mind.
Yeah, maybe, I think that's it. That's probably it, isn't it? that's the one band we can agree on, that we all kind of go, oh, yeah.
Unwound as well. Like if we have a car journey to a gig, then it's quite hard to decide on what to listen to, because we're all like, no, I don't fancy that. And then Tom's got like, was it Converge, is it? Or
yeah, I like really Converge, but I have to be in the mood for it. So I don't really hear any of it coming through in what we do, though.
No.
There's elements of, I love The Cure, I love Deftones, and I can hear bits of that in shades of it, but I think there's so much coming to it from different angles that it all seems to kind of just get entangled and then become its own thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I heard, when we seen you at Manchester, Akari, I heard bits of Slint in there as well.
Right. Yeah, actually, that's another band, I think.
There's another band we all like.
Yeah, we do like Slint.
Good one.
But we know how to insult each other. If we don't like something that one of the others playing, we'll use like a band that we know they hate and be like, that sounds a lot like Blur or something.
Blur, yeah, that was a recent one.
Yeah.
Come up with a guitar riff, Tom. So I did. Paul went, yeah, it does sound a little bit like Blur, like it was a positive thing, and I just wanted to cut my hands off. So I'm not going to again. Not a fan.
So how does the songwriting process start with SLAB? Is it a collective, or does somebody usually take the lead?
It's often a collective. Someone might have a sketch of an idea, but I think what we've all learned is if we flesh something out too much at home and then take it in, it goes off in its own direction anyway. So it's better just to come in with like a little fragment of an idea. Or a lot of the best stuff is when Paul will start playing a bass, playing a riff, or I'll start playing a little riff or something, or Leanne will kind of just start a beat going, and then it just evolves naturally from there. I think some of the best things we've done have been completely come from nowhere, just come from us being together.
If you come in with something that's too fixed, I think you go home heartbroken that either me and Tom or me and Paul have destroyed it by putting our input into it, because it doesn't sound like how you might have imagined it.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because sometimes, like when you're not there at the times when it was created, you just don't get it. You're just not in the same. You kind of we've all got to pack away our sort of pride a little bit sometimes. Go, yeah, okay, it's not worked. Never mind, chuck it out on to the next one. Yeah, I think we're getting better at that as well. I think we all say like privately, oh, if it gets through a few practices and gets through, you know, a bit of an examination from all three of us, then it's probably gonna you know, turn into something good, hopefully, or at least an idea that gets seen through to the end and gets finished and gets recorded.
None of us have got a really strong dominant ego, particularly. We're really good at listening to each other, I think, and I think we're all a little bit sensitive to. We want things to be right for each other, and I think we're quite sensitive to each other's. Well, me and Leanne are. Paul's a sod. No, we're all quite good. I'm joking. We're all good at. I think we're all good at making things go in the right direction and making sure that everyone's happy.
I think we record stuff when we practice, and then if the next day we've all listened to it and gone, really just want to get back and finish it or work on it again, then if it feels like that excitement about it the next day with a set of fresh ears, then we all do tend to start texting a lot. We've only got so much phone memory for that failed recordings as well that I need to delete.
But it's funny, isn't it? People like slag off phones now and say that they're the root of all evil. I know they can be with certain things, but when you're in a band, it's just like the best thing. Like, you know, we used to have, like, remember Tom had a 4-track. You had a Yamaha 4-track years ago, didn't you? And that probably cost you a load of money at the time. But it cost like 200 quid, didn't it? And we put a tape in it, and it would get like okay results. Now you just stick your phone in the corner of the room, and it seems to compress somehow. It's got some algorithms in it. It manages to not get overloaded. We take it home, we text it, we mess about, we can edit it a bit. I mean, phones are brilliant when you're in a band. You can talk about the songs, you can say what you don't like, you know, and just chuck ideas around so quickly. And I'm not saying anything new here, but it's just interesting that I think there are some brilliant stuff about phones. And the thing that does the recording is like just some crappy free app that you get with Android. Yeah. It's not like it's a, you know, DAW or anything like that. It's just great.
So easy.
Yeah, we'd be screwed without that. Or we'd have lost a lot of ideas, I think, without it. Because I'm not great at remembering stuff either. Sorry, a bit of a segue, but just came to me then.
So how do you know when a song's finished?
Finished being written?
Yeah.
Did it not feel like that when you came to see us? Sorry, Tom.
I think I kind of personally feel like they're not really. I feel like even after we recorded them, you kind of listen back and you think you might just evolve it a little bit, playing it live a bit. I mean, we come up with stuff in the studio all the time that we go, oh, yeah, that's really good, and then we try to incorporate it into the song when we play them live. So they're always kind of evolving. And I think if you're not kind of thinking on your feet when you're playing them, then you're not really paying much attention. I think it's quite good to just challenge yourself to try and play things a little bit differently. It keeps you really present and really focused. So even after they've been recorded and released, they're not finished.
Always evolving.
Yeah. So the brackets are a misnomer, really, because it's just
a lot of A's in there.
Yeah.
Always right with live performance in mind.
Oh, we should.
We do. We say, where's this going to fit in a set? If we come up with an idea that we really like, then we say, right, how's it going to fit in? Where's it going to go? Is it the beginning of a set? Is it the end of a set? We never say we want to write the song for the end of a set, or we want to write a song for the beginning of a set. But quite soon after we write something, we think, is it going to replace something else? Whereabouts is it going to go? How does it flow? And we'll play it in the context of the whole set. So yeah, I'd say so.
Have you got a song that's changed? Sorry, Paul.
No, I was just going to say what I think, like when we first started recording, and I'd certainly not been in a studio for ages, and I think we had a session, doesn't matter where, doesn't matter who, and we kind of threw stuff down, and then on reflection, we took it home, we're like, it wasn't, the guys will know what I'm talking about, it just realised we had to it's the sort of music where you want to take people on a bit of a journey, you know, a bit of a listening journey, a bit of a headphone journey. And that does mean now we do a lot more overdubbing, you know, not just guitar, sometimes with electric drums where it needs it, or maybe there'll be an extra bass line or vocals. I think we all get quite a lot of enjoyment about that. But the problem is sometimes you're like, oh, you suddenly end up with an idea or a little thing on the guitar that wasn't even there when you wrote it. And it's like, well, and it was played 3 different times, you know, it was an overdub. So we do have to adapt sometimes as well and simplify, but try and sort of bring out, try and preserve what the sort of essence was, or the sort of atmosphere of the song, but compromise sometimes. But that's fun in itself. If I'm singing and playing, I have to really simplify the bass lines, because otherwise it's not going to be a good listening experience for anyone. And sometimes that's good with bass, because everything, you know, sometimes the more simple, the more repetitive, the more it lulls you in. There's there's good things about that as well.
So which SLAB songs changed the most since the first idea to what is now the final version?
I say
or current version?
I mean, that's one at least, isn't it? When we first getting together in that kind of horrible, rotten, damp, stinking basement place, it was cool. Actually, really loved it. But yeah, that's exactly what it was. One of the first things we came up with was defibrillator, and then it was in and it was out, it was in and it was out. And then we offered it to Cass from the Sewer Cats to put vocals on, and it just really transformed. We were a middle eight for it, and then we brought it back in. It's kind of not in the set anymore because it's in an out phase, and I don't know if it will come back, but that's probably one that, I don't know, maybe there's another example, but that's the first one that came to my mind. One that kind of started and then went somewhere completely different.
Yeah, from one that was totally instrumental that we would play to one that now we can't really play without Cass doing any vocals on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely that. I think there's that many. They tend to be pretty much to a point where we're going to live with them before we play them live, and we're quite intense about the rehearsals. Not in a not fun way, but I think we really work on so many sections to make it as optimal as possible that I've never done before in a band. I just like, oh, that sounds all right. But now, like, each section gets enough time dedicated to it, not so that it's overwrought or becomes such a task, but I think to the point that they wouldn't be played live and become what they become until they're really ready for that. So yeah, it's usually vocals that shape everything differently though, isn't it? Which is why I don't sing.
So do you guys have specific roles beyond your instruments in the band, like your social media or your artwork? Was it left to one person or do you share it out?
Yeah, I guess things have just sort of happened because, I don't know, it's not normally because people like stuff, is it? It's almost like with things in the band like singing, it's like the person that probably dreaded it the least started it. I think I'm a bit ham-fisted when it comes to social media. I have this thing where I think I've posted something in the wrong way and it's all gone wrong. So I tend to steer clear from that. Anne and Tom tend to look after those things, even though I probably could do it. They take care of stuff like that. I tend to take care of the boring stuff, don't I? Like, you know, when you get £2.99 for a gig, I'll put that £2.99 into an account, and we've now got £13.74 in that account. It's been a good year.
On your way.
Yeah, I think none of us are very good at social media. None of us are particularly bothered about it. And I think you're supposed to. I read something recently that was like, don't overdo it with social media. Just one post a day, a post or a story. And I was like, we're lucky if we do one a month. We're not the kind of people, I don't think, who want to overshare. I don't think, well, maybe people would be interested that we're working on 4 new songs and we're really excited and we've got a new practice room and all the rest of it. But I don't know, I want to hit people with good content. Like, we've got a gig coming up, we've got a release coming up. There you go.
I think it's an age thing now as well, because obviously you've been around the scene for 20-ish years now.
Yeah.
When you go back that long, there was no such thing as social media. It was even before MySpace.
I know, when a flipping flyer would just do and you've done your job. But yeah, I think there's something about being like, are we called cuspers because we grew up without social media, but then our adulthood was like now social media? Like, it seems a little bit like, what Tom was saying, we don't need to put every element of what we do out there because maybe it's just not that interesting. But when we do, it's nice to get a little bit of those reactions that you get. But I like making the videos that we do sometimes. That's quite a nice creative outlet. I was really good at like sorting out where the hell we're going to practice and who's paying for a t-shirt. Tom makes the t-shirts at home as well. So like it's all quite democratic in the way that we do quite a lot of the behind the scenes, but it's quite an unbelievable amount of work as well that goes into it. Just sustain it and turn up with, the right amount of records and some decent t-shirts of all different sizes, and also all done by ourselves. We've got no label or anybody. It's just the 3 of us. So that's probably why we're too knackered to post. Yeah, but
it's like, well, isn't it? I mean, like the great thing about stuff like Enemy was it was once a week, and you could choose to buy it or not. And I know you can like turn some feeds off, but I wouldn't, want your best friends necessarily calling you, bothering you every day, would you? So I think it's just trying to moderate stuff, like you say, and put something in that maybe you're happy with or proud of, rather than just like, oh yeah, just putting some petrol in the car and going to Stockport. I mean, who wants to see that? I don't want to see that. Whether it's a band,
you'd be surprised.
We
the
could
Prime
try.
Minister. Not bothered.
Yeah.
It's
Could
funny.
be a
It's
market
funny,
for it,
isn't
yeah,
it?
Paul.
Well, I don't like to. I don't like to think like it's not even like it was better back in the day. I just think there's like pros and cons to the way things are now and there were back then. Like people talk like when you wanted to get a gig in like let's say 1997, there was like one person that first of all you had to phone at a venue and then probably had to make them like you, and then thirdly, you had to get them a tape. And then they'd have to be asked to listen to it. And then after that, they'd have to then come back to you. And people say, oh, it's a nightmare getting gigs. And I'm like, I think it's probably in some ways better than that. And then people say, yeah, but weren't those people great gatekeepers of talent? And I'm like, sometimes. I'm not sure they always were. So it's just, yeah, it's just so different, isn't it now? And there were good things then, and there are lots of good things now. People can almost go for it a bit more now, I think, can't they? If you can get someone to listen to it, it's easier to get someone to listen to it. You might get some immediate feel about whether it's good or bad, and you can immediately send that to someone and get a gig. And yeah, nothing's perfect.
So have you got a favourite live performance so far that sticks out for you?
Our album launch was a really good night.
Yeah.
That was this time last year, I think, probably. Because the album launch was like, we'd done some gigs around and about leading up to it, and then the Manchester gig was like at the end of a run of gigs, and I think it was just the anticipation of, well, are people actually going to come and see us? It went really, really well. That was probably the most satisfying, because also we chose the bands that were not supporting, but, playing along with us. And so it felt like a nice community feel as well. And we didn't really have to put petrol in the car for that one either. So there was no
Nothing to say, was there?
But it just felt like a nice homecoming of, oh, yeah, we played this venue maybe a year ago and there were like 6 people, including the sound guy, and now it's rammed. And this might just happen once in our lifetime, but at least it's happened.
It's good playing places where there's some history as well, isn't it? I mean, I don't remember it being a great gig. We played a gig at the Adelphi in Hull a few years ago. And what was great was just the guy who runs the place and has run for years just gave us a bit of a tour. And, you get to see all the old gig posters of, bands that are absolutely huge now that took the same stage, and you're sharing the same stage with them. And in a sort of fairly sort of what is now a modest venue, but got so much history and atmosphere to it. And, it felt like they really had their hands full trying to sort of keep it going. I believe it still goes. So I like it when we get to do stuff like that. Because the worry is there's going to be no one there, of course, or very few people there. But it's great getting out to play those new places you've never played. And just, feeling like you've been part of something. And that place had a really cool history. How about you, Tom? Any ones other than those?
I think when we did the House of All gig, I think that was a really good one, because we kind of went into the venue in the Ferret in Preston, and we were the only support for House of All, and we went straight through to the back, and we played the Ferret a few times, and there's been 20, 30 people there, and we kind of set up the merch stand and then had a chat, and I think at one point I stuck my head around just to see if it was filling up a bit, and it was full. There's about 150 people in there, and I immediately was just like, kind of shat myself basically. But I mean, I think we played a really good gig, and because it was at capacity, it kind of, the adrenaline was incredible. So I think we sold a bit of vinyl that night as well, didn't we? So it was just a good night, and I think we played really well then.
Great venue as well.
Yeah, it's a spot on venue, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really good.
it's awesome.
Is there a venue that you feel was home for you guys as a band?
It would have been the Pier Hats a few years ago, I'd say. But we've not been there for a while. We used to practice just over the road from the Pier Hats, so it was quite an easy one just to take the stuff downstairs, you take it downstairs again, and you set up, really. What would you say, guys?
It's really hard because so many venues just come and go. And you feel like it depends more. I think it depends more on the crowd and how you feel in the moment rather than the place. I mean, the Pier Hat is a really friendly, amazing DIY place to support local bands, and they'll really help you out. But it's getting harder and harder to find places that feel like you could do a circuit and it feels like home, and it feels like you'll meet the same bands along the way. Like that venue that we played where you saw us, that's gone now. And as much as it supported local bands, you could smell the toilets when you're on the stage. So, but you need places like that as well to help create some sort of scene. It shouldn't be like this sort of co-op arena live and nothing in between.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say that there's anywhere.
What was the place we did that festival thing where we played in the fire? Was it Fire and Water? It was called that venue.
Oh, in Sowerby Bridge.
Sowerby Bridge, but that whole day was really good. There's lots of, as much as there are venues closing down, there's other ones just kind of popping up. Really small kind of grassroots venues with someone who's got a PA and knows how to operate a mixing desk. And, that's all you need. And I think that's great for us because there's no pretense about it at all. There's no kind of expectation to bring anyone down. You're trying to play some music, they're trying to put on a good night, and everyone's just in it for the right reasons. I love playing places like that.
Yeah. Is there a dream venue or festival you'd like to play?
We were supposed to play Gorilla in November, just gone, supporting Unwound on their UK tour, and they were cancelled the whole UK tour due to illness, which is very sad.
No.
But I think from was it May last year to just right up to November, I was going to sleep dreaming about just playing Gorilla.
Yeah, what a venue.
It doesn't have to be the MEN. That would be, I'd die happy on a tiny hill of Gorilla. That would be enough. And that would be nice for me.
Yeah.
I'd love to play
any outdoor summer festival, wouldn't it? Any outdoor summer festival that kind of feels like people are there to enjoy themselves and appreciate the music. I'm not actually a big festival goer, but some of the stuff I've seen from Primavera, where you've been a couple of times, that always looks amazing. I mean, getting on a little stage at Glastonbury would just feel amazing. Anything like that would be you feel top of the world, I think.
Yeah. I think a lot of the bands some of the bands that we play with always say Arctangent, but then I don't know where we fit in because we're not heavy in some ways. We're not that heavy screamy, but it could work. So because we don't fit in the specific category as much, and we don't do the massive dreamy pop of endless instrumentals either. It's we could go anywhere really. Would you like to have us?
You would fit at Arctangent. I don't think there's anyone who would disagree with that. I think it's such a broad spectrum of bands that they have playing there anyway that you probably would fit in somewhere along there.
Yeah. We know loads of bands who've played there, and I'd love to play there because it's exactly my kind of music. And I think it's for people who have got open ears, isn't it? People who are looking for something new. And I think for the type of music we play, I don't think it ever leaves people completely cold, but people who get it seem to really get it. And, they want to know who we are, and they want to kind of communicate with us and do what they can for us, and not just buying vinyl but coming and having a chat. And then not that we wouldn't anyway, but it's just really nice when someone turns up and you recognize them, and you can have a conversation with them before or after the gig. Love that. And I think Arctangent would be full of our kind of people.
Can you make it happen?
I've emailed them twice.
We're going to move on to the fun questions now. So, if you could only listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I always answer this by saying, is it one album that you listen to once and then you die?
It's the album you've got to live with for the rest of your life. You can only listen to one.
Deary me. I'm just looking at a wall of CDs thinking, how the hell could I pick?
I mean, we are getting on a bit, so it wouldn't be that long.
Can you expand out the context at all a little bit? Why is it a death? You kind of why is this situation arisen?
Just because we like the music and things.
Yeah.
Do you like the album or not? I would probably, at the moment, and I might say something different next week, I would probably go either something by Neil Young or Rid of Me by PJ Harvey, something like that. Yeah, choice. And I'll change next week.
I think I choose Beaster by Sugar because it's about 6 songs long and it starts quite melodically and then it goes absolutely mental and then there's a complete release, and it's quite a cathartic album that kept me sane when I was going through a difficult time as a teenager.
I'd probably go Disintegration by The Cure just because it's an epic album. I always find something to love about it every time I listen to it, which isn't all that often, but it's one that an all-timer for me.
There you go, that's our sound. The Cure, PJ Harvey and Sugar. You could probably...
It's a good Venn diagram right there.
It's like therapy, this, isn't it?
I think
if you had to design a SLAB loyalty card, what would people earn points for?
Buying vinyl. Hang on, there's only one album. You can't really expect people to buy more than one copy.
Different variants.
What have other people said to that?
Buying a round of drinks. If you buy SLAB a round of drinks, then you get one loyalty point. which will do nothing for you.
It'd probably be soft drinks as well. We're not even expensive. We don't ask for much. We'd be giving them out probably for free, wouldn't we?
If you could collab with one famous musician, past or present, who would it be?
Bloody hell. I wouldn't mind PJ if PJ's hanging around.
Yeah,
PJ Harvey.
you could definitely add something to some of the songs that don't fit my voice.
Okay.
I'd like to get in a room and bash something with Josh Homme maybe, or Dave Grohl. That'd be fun.
Oh,
That's just me
where
personally.
would I go?
Oh, you can set the kit up.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. See you, Dave.
Yeah,
That's fun.
I probably picked so many characters from the 90s. Like you,
Well,
Tom.
huh?
What about you?
No, Robert Smith would be cool to see what he did with anything that we do. Chino Marino from Deftones would be really cool. Yeah, I don't know.
Those two would be less hard work than having Dave Grohl and Josh Homme in the room, I reckon. So, and we'd give them loyalty points, I think.
I think Chino's got a loyalty card set up for all the bands he's in.
Yeah, I just make the coffee for Dave Grohl, like in that video he's done out of the coffee when he loses it.
What's the most cursed piece of gear you've ever owned?
Tom's pedal board, is it?
My pedal board, I kind of overloaded. I put too many pedals on it, and I didn't realise I put too many. I thought I worked it all out properly, and then mid-gig, it just switched itself off, and it did that. Was it twice or three times, different gigs? And it never did it in the practice room. And we had somebody take it all. Well, I took it all apart, kind of put it all back together again. Nothing changed. And then I just realised that the two new pedals that I put on were the reason. That should have been the first thing that I checked. Maybe it's the two new pedals that I put on. I was going to say Paul's pedal board. That first gig that we were saying straight after COVID, Paul left his pedal board in a venue.
Yeah, I forgot about that. No, I left it in a... Well, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
You didn't know where you left it. You didn't even know you'd left it.
No.
We got conflicting stories where it had been. It did a world tour, didn't it?
It was a thirsty night for me that night. Yeah, and then the guy that booked the gig said he had it, so that was great. So there's like hundreds and hundreds of pounds of the pedals saved. And then about 12 hours later, he's like, no, I've not got it. I was like, oh, thank you for that. But there was a really, really amazing Uberman who'd driven the promoter home, way more intoxicated than me, and then the promoter had left my pedal board in the back of the car. I can't really moan about that, given that I'd already lost it myself. And then the Uber guy met me and brought it back, which was really nice. And I gave him a really generous tip because I couldn't ask for more than that. I think your drum pad's pretty cursed as well, Dan, isn't it? Because when you're searching for a specific sound, it always goes to that rave horn sound, and you're trying to find the Stephen Morris perfect snare sound, and it always seems to find that Tim Westwood jingle one.
I just do that to annoy you. I do actually know where the right sound is.
I think I want to hear Slab meets Tim Westwood. I think that could be a good show.
Oh, could be a lawsuit.
We'll let you know.
Have you got a current song that's on repeat that you're listening to?
Our own, or
Yeah, no. What you listen to at the moment? Anything new that's come out, or a local band?
I every week I listen to this song by Sonic Youth called Pink Steam, and I just never get bored of it. And I've been listening to it every week for about 2 years. And I was even thinking the other day, it was a bit morbid, I was thinking, I wouldn't mind that being played at my funeral, that song. It's that good. Someone asked me one day, they said, well, what would you like to have played at your funeral? I was like, what sort of question's that? I didn't come with anything. And I thought, maybe Pink Steam. There you go. If I'm not here tomorrow, make sure it's played.
God, I'm trying to think.
You get stuck with stuff, don't you? And then play it loads and then play it too much as well.
Yeah, I got too obsessed with Turnstile at the end of last year and need to stop now because, I'm not a 90s skater boy.
I'm nothing against them at all. I don't know the music. I don't know the people. Is that one of the worst band names ever? Turnstile. Just like an inanimate object. They were like going to a gig. They're like, what are we going to call ourselves? And they got to the entrance and they clicked their way in and they went, this'll do.
I mean, what are you stood on? A slab?
Pavement.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
When we get a Grammy like that, we can slag them off.
Not slagging. It's just like, it's one of those names that I struggle with it.
You wouldn't want it on a T-shirt, would you? It's a bit mundane.
Ask my daughter. She's got a Turnstile T-shirt somewhere.
I'm quite jealous, actually.
Go on, Tom, what have you been spinning a lot recently?
We're kind of working on new stuff at the moment. So I cycle to work and I listen to the new stuff we're working on, just try to shape it in my mind, try to see where it's going. So self-indulgently and sadly, that's my answer, unfortunately. I listen to
a few bands do that. A few bands, we get that. They haven't got time for other music because they constantly listen to their own stuff to get it right.
It's not always like that. I've mentioned Deftones a few times because I've kind of got back into Deftones over the last few weeks. I've kind of listened to a few of their albums on repeat. I tried a bit of Def Heaven again today. I think it's because it's D and it's close to Deftones on my phone and I was in a rush. And I've seen Def Heaven live and I liked him at the time, but I listened to it today. You know, when you listen to something after a few years and you think, I don't know what I liked about it. And I do really like that album, but I think it was I just put it on because it was something that was there on my phone rather than wanting to put it on. And that's the danger with being impulsive.
Only, what have you been listening to?
That Sky Valley Mistress.
Right.
You listen to that? Like rock and roll. It's really good. It's
Okay.
awesome. It's just a two-piece.
Sky
Great
Valley
album.
Mistress. I don't know that.
Played with them a few years ago. They've got a very... they sort of play the drums between the two of them.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Yeah, really good band.
Okay.
Definitely check them out.
Do you ever get?
What about you, Chris?
Well, since Neurosis dropped a new album on Friday, I've been all over that.
Neurosis. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been on the train a lot recently, so it's been my train music for the past couple of days.
Got one of those from a few years ago because I think I read that I'd like it and I quite liked it. I can't remember. It's got blood and something in the title, but I can't remember what it is. Through something.
Through Silver and Blood.
Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's your style of music, is it?
That's just one of the many, but yeah, when that sort of come out as a surprise drop on Friday, nobody was expecting it because they split up. And then just appeared out of nowhere. So it was quickly added to my library. And then I've been trying to get it in any opportunity I can because I've been with my wife all weekend and there's no way she was listening to it.
Been back on that Overhead the Albatross album as well. That's amazing. Still love
That is a good album.
I think they were touring, weren't they? Are they touring this year or did they tour last year?
Yeah, they're touring in May, I think it is.
Right.
April or May.
We were having a look at bands who are touring this year just to see. And I think I'd listened to a few of the tunes at that point. Are they American?
Irish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember liking them. Obviously didn't do much research.
We're going to move on to the quick fire questions now. So, vinyl or streaming?
Dreaming.
I'll just say vinyl. I like both.
Loud or quiet practice?
Loud.
Wow. Come on, Paul, you know you're not.
Depends if you can hear the vocals. Loud enough
You
so
order-
everyone can be heard. That's what I'll say. Joy Division.
Neither.
My mind was going there, but I'd probably say Joy Division.
Merch, shirts or vinyl?
Shirts or vinyl.
Yeah, you've got to pick
Pretty much
one.
our entire, we'd do shirts and vinyl and loyalty points. Shirts for me. I don't have a record player.
Shirts are nice when you see people wearing them out and about. Whereas you don't know if somebody likes you if they've taken a record home.
Start looking in their tote bags. Don't even know who they are.
Chips with curry or chips with gravy?
Neither for me.
Chips with cheese.
Cheese.
Yeah.
That's too
Cheese and
cracky,
chips.
isn't it?
We'll take that.
Do you like fat chips or fries? I used to be fat chips, but now I don't really like fat chips. Or are they what you call chips? And I'm completely off piste here.
Fries, surely.
I think what
Chips are disappointing. No one ever finishes a bag of chips and says, that last chip I had was the best chip I've ever had. A third of the way through, you think, should have got the small.
As opposed to what all the food stuff. When you finish that last morsel, you go, that was the best piece of...
You know, when you have a curry, you
Yeah.
enjoy every mouthful. Or something out of Chinese, you enjoy every mouthful. But chips,
you say me.
You know what makes them better? Curry or gravy?
okay, yeah, that's the question.
I think just a pot of gravy sauce would be fine for Tom.
Washed down with some
Curry,
cheese.
yeah.
Van snacks, sweet or savoury?
Savoury, I'd say.
Yeah.
We are mini cheddars.
Mini cheddars are the fuel for SLAB.
Yeah.
They get
And they
loyalty
don't eat
points.
too many crumbs, do they?
Well, I like Twiglets and no one else does, so...
That's because
I'm
you
so-
thought it would stop you getting COVID, though, didn't you?
Well, no, I didn't actually think that. No, that
No, I
makes
don't.
me sound like a complete maniac. I was just theorising when I was really overindulging on them and I hadn't had it for such a long time. I thought, oh, maybe there's something in that. But people say that when you go abroad, people say that mosquitoes don't get them because they have Marmite on the toast. I think that's also nonsense. I've heard people say that, and they firmly believe it.
To be fair, there was
Just
a lot of nonsense being spouted during COVID, wasn't there? About, things that would keep COVID away.
Yeah.
I just think no one would go near you because you smell of Marmite. That was all it was.
There's our reel for this week. City life or country life?
City, definitely.
Probably city. I love going through the countryside and seeing someone saying, "Oh, that looks beautiful. Imagine living there." And then I'm like, "Yeah, but what if you ran out of bread?"
The last question: cold spaghetti donuts or a chicken tikka cornetto?
They both sound rancid.
I think that's probably the point. Spaghetti donut. I'd at least give that a go. I'm vegetarian, so the chicken one's a fail.
Yeah, me too. I'm vegetarian, so I'm not having tofu, whatever that version is.
What's the vegetarian to do with putting something rancid in?
Well,
One over the other.
whatever the chicken thing was sounded rancid enough, and then you make it tofu. It's not going to be better, is it?
Tofu tikka cornetto.
Tofu tikka cornetto. Oh yeah, now you're talking.
We should do them instead of t-shirts.
We ask all of the difficult questions.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thank
Been a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you for having us. It's been fun. Good to see you both again.
I hope you can
thank
edit
you.
that into something coherent.
Oh my God.
Cheers, all.